Marriage isn't for everyone. What's important is that we question everything. Test our assumptions and the institutions which have grown from them.
Would you ever consider marriage yourself?
I recently received a proposal, actually, but turned it down. Marriage just isn't the right paradigm for me.
So your book is not exactly a how-to guide.
Far from it. My idea of having it all means doing what I want, when I want, with whomever I want. When I want, with whomever I want.
An independent woman.
For life.
You see how mainstream media makes it seem cool and empowering for women to be independent. It's empowering for women to do what they want, when they want, with whomever they want.
Get it, read it, live it. This is the new world order, ladies, and I like it.
Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, the honors of the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. It says, like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. It's going to be a quick show through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I got that particular clip from this guy, Magnosphere. And I was just, certain things just pop up and I was watching it. And it's based upon a show. I guess the show is Sex Life Just Exposed the New World Order. Which, this is the key thing. This is why I wanted to do this. Alright, so you look at the comment board. The first thing that you see, the very first thing that you see, Satan went after Eve in the garden. History repeats itself. And this is what the man was talking about. You brothers should watch it. It's not even, we already know it's informative, but it's right in your face. And I find it real particular. So it's 5 days ago, right? So everything about what we do is about timing. So the perfect timing is the fact that I never seen the show, don't care about the show, but these couple of clips that they put, and it's perfect timing in the sense of these banks collapsing. Who has more to lose than anybody else? The woman. The woman. She has a lot more to lose than anybody else. All right, because the woman, her whole this whole facade that she have put in the faces of people is that she's independent. So that means that she needs no help. She has all the money and all that. That's the calling card for all these women. But who's going to be affected if there is a bank run, or when the banks collapse, when there's no more way to get what you want or be able to travel? They are. That's why women are hyperbia. They always seek somebody that they can latch on. But what happens to those high value men that you've been trying to latch on, and he loses everything? Then what are you gonna do? They will do whatever it takes in order to survive. All right. But that's, it got me thinking of this book. This is from the book Satan Angel Exposed. This is a page 149. It says in the middle of the page, it says the ultimate aims. All right, this is the ultimate aims, and obviously this book is based upon the top of the thing says Illuminati aim creation of a world government. So if you've been living under a rock, if you don't know this term Illuminati, which illuminated the light bearers, all right, which that's what goes into terminology Lucifer, which just means light bearers. But this group of men that truly turn everything in the world upside down, okay, has had documents of their plan for decades, for centuries actually, but mainly for the past few decades. Ever since the form of the the federal, like for here in America is the Federal Reserve. All right, so this plan has been in motion for a long period of time. But let's look part of this list. It says ultimate aims. By the time a member had reached the grade of the illuminated Melval, you learn that the ultimate aims of the order abomination of all order governments. So no governments, no governments should stand. Which that's a long process. The abomination of private property, which who's been promoting that a lot. You have Carl Schwab of an inheritance. So these two things go together. No property, no inheritance. What is the slogan? He said, "You shall own nothing and be happy." How is that possible? You got to be drugged up, all right? Patriotism. So all these people, January 6th, showed that anybody that doesn't want to follow the status quo, and when they want to come against what they feel that is tyranny, which is according to the Constitution, that this country is supposed to be following, states that if you feel like your government is a tyranny, then you're supposed to take matters into your own hands as a people, which that this whole thing is about destroying that patriotism and of all religion. And that's why you have they trying to rename the Most High, saying the Most High is, I don't know what the hell they're trying to say. And they're trying to put everything together to one world government. But this is the key thing with this lesson I'm trying to do. And the key thing is the abomination or ablation of the family via abomination of marriage. So what is family? Well, I should have looked it up. Another term of family in the society that we'll consider is called the nuclear family. Now, the nuclear families was father, mother, children. So the whole end game is to promote the destruction of the family structure, which that guy was actually talking about, which is obviously the status quo. Let me get the other page. Page 2, no, not 23. Where is it? Right, 272. This is much of Ruski's theories come from Pluto, whom he worshipped. There is a remarkable parable in the writing of Ruski, Marx, and other followers of Pluto. Pluto ideal society include the following. And I'm gonna read a little bit of it, and then I'm gonna go from there because there's a lot more. This you could do shows for days with this. It says the first one. This is from Pluto, the great philosopher that they follow so keen. That's what they say. Where it says the elimination of marriage and family. So 2 pages in one particular book tells you the destruction of the family. And the second one, which is a key thing, all men would belong to all women. So that's completely turning things upside down. All right? That is completely turning things upside down. There's no such thing as partnership. There never was a partnership. Okay, there's no such thing as union wife or partners. No, there's one head. The woman holds down the fort. The man takes care of everything else. That's throughout history of mankind, period. But in this sick society, they want to have everybody believe that there's a partnership and you got to raise a child together, this, that, to the third. Well, I seen a video yesterday, which I should have done. It doesn't matter. And then the statistic shows that if a man raise a child, that the child will turn out better than a single mother. So it's not about the gender who raised them. It's about destroying that family structure, which they aim for by, like how the man was saying in the video, by overthrowing the family by one particular person, which is the weaker vessel. And it's you women. You women are the weaker vessels. All right? Point blank, history have shown it, and right now it shows it. All right? Everything is out of course because women are given too much freedom, power, so to speak. All right? Which is not power, it's part of the delusion. You've been duped. You've been fooled by the devil. All right? Got to go back to this real quick. Genesis, and I'll come back to this. I always do this, but hey, it is what it is. Genesis 3:16. No, yeah. Genesis 3:1. It says, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field." So when people actually read this, you idiot Christians, you actually believe that's an actual serpent. Now, where in history has a serpent beguiled anybody? They don't do that. I don't care what the movie Conan, even the movie Conan show you, serpents do not beguile people. All right. And I use the movie Conan because they was trying to there was a scene when a woman was hypnotized by a giant snake, and that's what snakes do. They hypnotize you to eat you. But it's talking about, when you look it up in the Hebrew, not this one, you gotta look up for the origin word. Still the same word, nakash. It means nakash. I always bring this up. It means to practice divination, divine, observe signs, learn by experience, diligently observe and practice foretelling, take as an omen. So a serpent, when the serpent was discussed, it was a man, all right, who was a witch, a wizard, all right, a sorcerer. This is not a deeds of a actual serpent. This is deeds of men, okay? And it says to practice divination, to observe signs or omens. Primitive root probably to hiss, that is whisper, a magic spell. Generally to prognosticate, certainly divine enchanter. Enchantment learned by experience, indeed diligently observed. So it's talking about a man. All right. Now I always bring this out to the spirit. Let me get this out of the way. When you go to Slack, let me put that down. Just don't want an interruption. Finally got something quiet. Sirach 19, I believe it is. Sirach 19 and matter of fact, yeah, it's not 19. Sirach 28. Yep. Sirach 28, it says whisper, right? It says Sirach 28:13. Curse the whisperer and double tongue, for such have destroyed many that were at peace. So Adam and Eve, all right? Adam and Eve was in the garden. Let's use the terminology in today's term. It was chilling in the garden. And then the serpent came up to the woman, spit some game, all right, got a guard down because she's a weaker vessel. He didn't go to Adam. He went to Eve and told her the things that was dainty to her eyes, that was things that she wanted to hear. So he spit game. That's what we'll call game, right? You see a damsel, you tell her, you don't tell her the truth. You tell her what she wants to hear. Oh, you're beautiful. You're this, that, to the third. You know, you'll be a good mom. You know, you're independent. You don't need this, that, to the third. So he told her he wanted to spit this game to her. He said, basically, look, yeah. Well, it just says it, what he did say to her. But he mainly made it so enticing that she and it probably wasn't once or twice, because that's another thing. I'm gonna have to use that, and I'm gonna say this, right? What is the number one cause for a woman to cheat on a man? Now I'm saying that she cheated on Adam with this man, but the emotional baggage. A woman's more emotional attached to anybody before she makes that decision. So this man probably was spitting this game to her plenty of times, and just hit the right tone that day and start telling her the things that she wanted to hear. All right, because that's the facts. These women today they're easier than the women back then. All right, so he probably was really saying the same shit over and over again. And she used that same skill set to go to her husband Adam and told him what she learned from this guy. All right, but that's just something that. But yeah, women will emotionally cheat on a man before she physically cheat on a man. So she was probably listening to the serpent for a while, and the things that he was saying, and it enticed her to hear it. And when he told her the things that she would have received if she did eat of the fruit, or she just got down with what he was saying, then she brought it to her husband. But going back to says Sirach 28:13, curse the whisperer and the double tongue. And we know what Gad said about this man. He says one thing, then he comes and saying something else. They call it four tongues. All right? Because he's never straightforward. For such have destroyed many that were at peace. All right? In the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve was at peace. Everything was going accordingly. So now the fruits of that labor, you see this independent monstrosity, which Aaron Russo told Alex Jones that the Rockefellers, the Rockefellers, mainly the Rothschilds, had put women's lib not to give women freedom or liberty. It was actually to destroy the family structure. All right, checkpoint. Is that a backbiting tongue have disquieted many, have driven them from nation to nation. And that's exactly what happened in the time of Adam and Eve. All right, strong nations have it pulled down and overthrown houses of great men. And was not Adam, was he not great? Yes, he was. All right. But that one lie, that liar, that deceiver, that sorcerer, which is the same spirit that this man has to this day, has destroyed many. Okay? A backbiting tongue that have cast out virtuous women have deprived them of their labors. And what is the purpose of a woman? A lot of women don't even want to acknowledge that. Your purpose is to serve your man. If a woman does not have purpose, she is doing what she's doing. So this man literally took this woman from her purpose. But let me read this real quick. I'm going to jump down and get to the point. It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord Yahweh have made. So out of all men, all right, because in Ecclesiastes tells you that all men are beasts. Okay? Tells you that. The other nations. It says, and he said unto a woman, you know have the Most High said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High have said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die. So he already knew the order. The order was for Adam and Eve not to indulge into what he was doing. Let's back this up real quick. I know it's going longer, but hey, it's the spirit. Deuteronomy 18 and about 13, 14. No. Deuteronomy 18, there it is. And showing you that history had repeated itself. I start at 9. When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy power hath given to thee, thou shalt not learn to do the abominations of the nations. So the Lord's given his people, the Israelites, all right, the truth of the matter. Okay? So the reason why the Lord got rid of the Canaanites out of that land, because it was doing abominable works. So the Lord's like, look, don't be doing what these people did. This is the reason why they got kicked out. It says, verse 10, thou shalt not be found among you any that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or to observe the times, or enchanter or a witch. So the Lord said, you're not gonna do these things. All right, or a charmer, or counselor with familiar spirits, or wizard, or necromancer, which is heavily promoted to the society. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy power have driven them out out from before thee. So obviously these nations didn't receive the the good graces of the Lord, because he gave them these things, which he gave them these things to their own demise. All right, that's why we was not supposed to associate ourselves with them. It says, verse 13, that shall be perfect with the Lord thy power. For these nations which that shall possess hearken unto observers of times and unto diviners. But as for thee, the Lord thy power have not suffered thee to do so. All right, or suffered thee so to do. So the Lord did not allow his people to do that, because that was the path of righteousness. That was the path of what? The same path that Adam and Eve had. All right. So I have to bring that out real quick. Genesis 3 and 5. So, and that's what the scripture tells me. I'm just going to quote it in Ezekiel, that all the other trees were jealous of Adam's bow. In other words, all the other nations were jealous of Adam, because what? Deuteronomy the 4th chapter tells you, because the wisdom and knowledge that was given unto Adam, they could not perceive it. But the Lord allowed them to do whatever the hell they wanted to do. But that was not for the Lord's chosen. All right. It says, let me read this quick. And it says, verse 4, Genesis 3 and 4, the serpent said unto the woman, you should not surely die, for the Most High doeth know that in that day ye shall eat thereof. Then your eyes shall be open, and shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And that was not the path that the Lord wanted us to go through while we're going through this cycle today. All right? It's because of the woman, we in this cycle of life and death. All right? Because she hearkened on to the serpent, which was a man, a sorcerer. And it says, verse 6, and then when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And it's not talking about actual tree. It's not talking about actual fruit. It's talking about a lie. Let me get that. See, it's in Hosea. It should be Hosea 10, but fruit of lies. Hosea 10 and 13. You have plowed wickedness, you have reaped iniquity, you have eaten the fruit of lies, because thou didst trust in the way of the multitude of the mighty man. So the fruit of lies, just like anything else, the seed had to be planted. And once the seed was planted in the minds, then you believe that lie, that delusion. That's what the state of to the modern days women are. They're delusional. They still eat of that lie. But let's read on, because it's very important. It says that the eyes of both were open, and they knew that they were naked, which is not talking about actual physically naked. Is that they were ashamed. All right. They were ashamed of themselves. It says, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. It says, and they heard the voice of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, walking in the garden in the cool of the day, which is talking about in the morning time. And the voice was talking about a prophet. All right. It's talking about a prophet. It says, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord Yahweh amongst the trees of the garden, which was the trees of the garden was the other nations. And it says, and the Lord Yahweh called unto Adam and said unto said unto him, where art thou? Why he didn't go straight to her? Because that's the order of things. The man first. All right. And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked. Now I hid myself. So no matter what Jake would do, you can't hide yourself. All right. And That's part of another story in itself. He said, "Who told thee that I was naked?" And just like a child, they could walk around naked and so forth. They don't feel the shame, okay? Because Adam and Eve, and their descendants was what? They was given the laws, all right? So there was nothing for them to be ashamed about. But when they got exposed, when they realized like, oh shit, you know, then they realized like, oh damn. And this is why you think they was hiding, all right? What do you think they was hiding for? It says, "Has thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat?" And Slakia, I gotta keep interrupting, but it's true. Because matter of fact, let me get that real quick. My point I wanted to bring out. Jeremiah 2:11. It says, "Have the nation," talking about Israel, "changed their gods, which are yet no gods, but my people have changed their glory for that which doeth profit them not. Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be very desolate, saith the Lord. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold no water." So what was that Lord telling the nation of Israel? Like, look, you want to go to these different gods, which are no gods. The Lord was the one that was providing for us. That's the same thing that Adam and Eve was going through. All right. So history repeated itself. Okay. And a cistern is what? A cistern is a well. Now, when you look up a cistern, it could go all the way down to 5,000 feet. That's a deep well. So the Lord said, look, you have your own laws, statutes, and commandments, your own God. Why are you doing all this to serve nothing? And when you read this whole chapter, it tells you what our people was doing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just jump down to the point when it get right. Jeremiah 2:33. Why trimmest thou away to seek love? Therefore has I also taught the wicked ones thy ways. So when somebody's seeking love, an attention whore, all right, she will do whatever it takes in order to appease, to gravitate to everybody that's around, to say, look at me. Doesn't that sounds familiar? All right, that's our people as a whole. That we seek approval from the devil. Okay, because we don't want the responsibility or the what's the word I'm looking for? The word that these women today are accountability. We don't do that as a people, because what? We have the vibration of a woman. The nation of Israel do. All right. Going back to Genesis 3, I believe it's 11. And here's a point of the accountability. So now that Adam was cornered and he got called out, this is what happened. It said verse 11. And he said, Who told thee that I was naked? Has I eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that shouldest not eat? And the man said, The woman whom thou hast givest to be with me, she gave me of the tree and did eat. So he put the blame on the woman. And now a woman could say, oh, see, you always want to blame it on the woman, right? Okay. Verse 13. And the Lord Yahweh said unto the woman, what is this that has done? So yeah, he did put the blame on the woman, but she was supposed to bear. He's like, why did you do? Right? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. So she put the blame on the serpent. All right? The same serpent that she was in cahoots. The same serpent right now who masterfully manipulated the minds of the woman who's destroying the family structure, because she don't want to be equal to her man. She want to be above her man. She want to be the man's God. All right, which is not to be. Okay, yeah, the scripture says in Jeremiah 31, no, it's at 33, that a new thing, but this new thing was a two-party system. Okay, and this two-party system was the serpent and the man. And the man is suffering for what the woman did. The world's suffering for what the woman did. All right. And as a matter of fact, and in verse 14, and the Lord Yahweh said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this. So he didn't even ask him no questions. He said, look. He didn't even ask him no question. He couldn't say, no. He's like, yo, because you did this, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, above all beasts of the field. Upon thy belly shall I go, and thus shall I eat all the days of thy life. So the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua put a curse straight up on the serpent, because he was supposed to know better, but he was not supposed to know better because he was created to be the crooked, the wicked. All right. Now I get to the point. 1 Timothy 2:13. It says, for Adam was first. So the order of things is what? Matter of fact, I start at 11. It says, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. And that's one thing that these today women do not want. They will give you they will run around and tell you, oh, I need this type of man to be submissive to. That in itself shows you that they're rebellious as all hell. Okay, because what? They drinking that devil's juice. To this day, they mad. Okay, but they don't know that they've been trapped. They've been fooled to believe the bullshit that they believe in. It's history repeating itself. It says, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. So when Paul wrote this, because what? They was going through that in that particular church. Women was just out of place. Basically following what the heathens would do, because that's not part of our culture. All right, but look what's happened. That shit spewed out to the whole world. All right, feminism is straight witchcraft. It says, for Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression. So it's the woman that has been deceived. Now I could get to 1 Timothy 5 and 6, and I'm gonna jump. It says, but she that liveth in pleasure while she liveth, but she that liveth in pleasure is dead. And that's what you see when the majority of these women are dead. All right, because once again they are the weaker vessel. This is why loneliness they can't handle. They think they could substitute things for their happiness, but them having natural kids and having a natural family, they will fight that to the tooth and nail because of the simple fact they want to live in pleasure. All right, this is the spirit of America. Okay, it says while she liveth. Let me jump down. It says, I start at 14. I will therefore that the younger woman marry. And you saw in that clip that the woman said she was offered and she declined the offering. There's going to be a time real soon, real soon, real soon, around the corner soon, that you women are going to wish that you never declined any offer. Because those offers, just like any business deals, those offers is going to be rescinded. And when the other party has the upper hand, you're gonna have to deal with whatever comes. All right, which we are about to get to that breaking point, because society is going to crumble. All right, it's going to crumble real soon, real soon. This bank crisis is a perfect time for that. All that independent, strong BS Well, guess what? Your tithes is just in the bank, just like the next man is. The high value man that you look up so dearly, that you think you could get, all right, that you could equal his money, he's about to lose it. Then what you people gonna do? All right? And if you not be able to bear no children, guess what? You're useless to a man. Well, especially now, all right? Because these women they're just that useless. It says, bear children, guide the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. For some are already turned aside after Satan, and which is clear. The majority of you women out there are agents of Satan. You destroy your own family because your dumbasses don't know that the elites have plotted this shit out from the very beginning. I'm going back to what Ruski and all of these great minds, great white men that you love so dearly, what they did to your own family. They help destroy your own family. How about that? You are nothing, like the man said in that video, you're nothing but an agent of chaos. All right? And there's a scripture where it says, matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. Sirach, the 25th chapter, I believe. A woman that destroys her own household. And that's all you women. In the same video that man was talking about, I never seen the show, but he was talking about one of the main women in the first season. She destroyed her own household. How wise is that? All right, for what? Emotional pleasure for a moment? You're willing to sacrifice everything that was built for a quick peace? You're gonna regret that, because now. Anyway, let me see if I can find that real quick. I could do that one real quick, and it says there's one particular one I'm looking for, but it might be in the next chapter. I started 15. Screw it. So there's no head above the head of a serpent. There's no wrath above the wrath of an enemy. Let me read that again. There's no head above the head of a serpent. All right? Speaking of the serpent, there's no wrath above the wrath of an enemy. So it's not dealing. And then the very next verse it says, I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon, two animals that will maul you, that will destroy you, that will eat you. All right. This man saying, look, I'd rather be with one of them, take my chances, than to keep a house with a wicked woman. All right. So you women are out, and a lot of these men that jump into relationships regretting those relationships. See, the time of relationships is over. All right, it's over. It's all about who has the upper hand. And in today's society, the woman has the upper hand. So she decides, once the man opens up the fact that he's in a relationship, then she decides, I'm gonna go ruin that. Just because I'm curious about something, and society would match that woman's thought of mind. All right. So wicked women is not gonna last in these days. All right, they're gonna get molded. It says the wickedness of a woman changes her kindness and darken her kindness like a sackcloth. Okay. Oh, her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, he shall sigh bitterly. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. So whatever she does in her warped mind, and that's what it is. It's all that delusional state. Believing her, she will put her emotions above everything for the greater good. And once again, who placated to that? Who has pushed that? The wicked, so-called white man. All right, that's why you have women's lib and women that that's in the household, running the household, and the scriptures tells you about that. I just want to get to the point. And it says, let me see if I can get to that point, and then go to the next one, and that's it. Well, it does says it again. It says verse Sirach 26 and 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. So a match made in hell. A lot of you people out there are match made in hell. All right. That's what it is. It was the first chapter. Let's see. Destroys her own household. Because today's, let's see, destroy. Type in that. Oh boy. Keywords household. Oh, it's not in this one. Like this. Or let me just see. Password. Maybe it's not destroy household. Let's put destroy. Let's see what happens. I definitely gotta get this one out. Sirach. As is a house that is destroyed, and its wisdom is a fool. No. Oh, I guess I misquoted it. Destroy it. No. I guess I misquoted it, but something to the extent of somebody's a fool that destroyed their own household. I must have misquoted it. I'll get it another time. Press for time. That's why, hey, and that day comes, which is now. All that independent BS is going to be thrown out the window. Isaiah 32:9. It says, "Rise up, you women that are at ease," because they are at ease. To make a statement that woman said, boldly, because Hollywood pushes that agenda. And here it is that you're supposed to be strong and independent, but you being warped, or enchantment hits you harder than anybody else. All right, you're the first ones to follow any trend, anything, the new whatever the latest trend, you follow in a heartbeat, because you don't have a mind of your own. You whatever is programmed, that's what you do. All right, so you've been at ease. You've been like next verse says, "Hear my voice, you careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days which are now." All right, and years. So it's not gonna be a thing of, all right, everything's gonna go back to normal. No, every day that they do something, it's gonna take more and more rights, or not rights, the privileges that you have been given, that you've been granted by the serpent, the devil. All right, then you're gonna realize that serpent and that devil never had good intentions from you from the very beginning. That's when reality is gonna sink in, because he's helping destroying your family. He's helping destroy you as a purpose, as a person, which will have no purpose. Why do you think there's so many goddamn single women? All right, Because what? You lost your purpose. He tells your man, oh, he has to have one, and yet you women will share with another woman as long as you don't know. All right, but you wanted that 1%. So you're just gone, and this man has helped captivate that. It says, "You careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come." It says, "Tremble, you women that are at ease, be troubled, you careless ones. Strip you, make you bare, and girt sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasures of the fields, for the fruitful vine." So all the things that you have accumulated throughout all these years, the false sense of security, of superiority over the man is gonna be thrown out. All right, Second Ezra 16, I believe it's 33. Yep, it says, and that's spirit too. It says, "The virgins shall mourn," and the majority of you out there, you're not virgins. So if you're not virgins, that means that you're you're broken goods, and nobody really wants that. The real men that ain't gonna want that. It said, "Have no help, have no bridegrooms." So the virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. No man gonna go out their way and do anything for them. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. So, hey, you may have a husband, a so-called man, for every bill that you have. A man for your phone bill, a man for your rent, this, that, to the third. Well, guess what? All those simps are gonna be put to death. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegroom be destroyed, and their husbands, shall perish of famine. So the strong Tyreek and all these street thug niggas, mainly talking about you black, Latino, Native American women, and all you other nation women that love these bad boys and so forth. Guess what? That hothead that you love so much that you get turned on, that bad boy, his dumb ass is gonna get killed. All right. In these new coming wars, he's gonna go out there and rob and steal, like it says in, was it First Ezra or Second Ezra, the 4th chapter, because they lost their wits for your ass to provide for you. Well, your providers are gonna be put to death, and those providers that are gonna get killed in the war, they're gonna starve to death. That means that they won't be able to provide for you no food. Period. It's about to get real out here. All right. Once again, this devil done fooled you. So with that being said, shalom to the elected nation. Shalom.